just skateboarding into the studio. That's just how I roll. Get it? Right, cool. Jokes out of the way. Super serious time. DJing. So, had a lot of people asking me kind of do a DJing video tutorial type thing. And you know what? There's only one thing you need to know about DJing. I call it the fundamental of DJing. Fundamentals. It's pretty much only one thing, so it's a fundamental of DJing. So, what is it? Well, what's going on when you're DJing? Apart from fist bumping, which is integral, you're playing one song, then you're playing another song, then you're playing another song, and so on. So you're playing songs kind of one after another. Now, how do you go from one song to playing the other one? Well, you've got to hit play at some stage. That's kind of really important, otherwise it won't start. Now, how do you know when to press it? Well, you've got to choose the right time. The fundamental thing is you've got to play the right song at the right time. Now, it's got to be the right song. Kind of goes without saying, but you'd be surprised how often people play the wrong song. So you've got to make sure that you're kind of playing the right song that fits the vibe of the night, for whatever reason that is. It doesn't have to be the song that, say, the Camelot system of harmonic mixing says, or it doesn't have to be in the same BPM. It just has to be the right song. Like, listeners can give a whatever's about all your fancy effects you're doing and the fact that it's all in key and whatever. They just want to hear songs they like. So fundamentally, you've got to make sure you're playing the right songs. However, you also got to make sure you're playing it at the right time. What do I mean by that? So you've got to make sure that you're pressing it at the right point in the track, so the tracks just kind of fit together. Now, us producers, we design them, the tracks, so that they will fit together. That's why you're hearing like house and techno and stuff, they'll just play a load of drums and shit at the beginning. And you're listening like, it's boring, where's the cool bit come in? Where's Skrillex gone? No, he doesn't do this. But yeah, we design tracks to fit together. So you've got to make sure when you're DJing, you play it at such a point that the tracks just kind of slot over each other. So a lot of the times in house and stuff, it's really, really easy because the first 32 bars will just slot over the last 32 bars of the previous song. However, it doesn't always work that simply, so you just got to kind of look at your tracks, kind of using your ears and your eyes. If you have Traxo, you can literally see like when the bass comes, when the bass goes. But to use your eyes, use your ears, use your kind of common sense. Just kind of press play at the right point so they just fit together. Now this can be in the breakdown, it can be at the end, it could be 16 bars in, I can give a shit. Just got to make sure you're playing it at the right time and they will just fit together. That way you're not messing about with these things. They're a lot of fun to kind of doing this and kind of bouncing around and kind of pressing effects and cool shit, but you know what? If you press play at the right time in the song, it will just fit together. Nice and easily, you don't have to worry about that stuff. You can still do this to kind of look cool so the girls think, yeah, he knows what he's doing, he's professional. But if you play at the right point in the song, it will just kind of mash together, merge together in a really kind of natural way, and it'll sound less forced. If you play at the wrong time, it will just kind of force it together and stuff's out of time, and then it's a disaster, so fuck that. Right, it's also another type of time, and that is beats have got to line up. It's called like beat matching, or you can use a sync button. I couldn't give a shit if you use a sync button or not. But fundamentally, you've got to make sure like the kick of one song is lined up with the kick of the other song before it or after it, whatever. You know what I mean. You've got to make sure everything lines up. Otherwise, it will sound all out of sync and it'll be higgledy-piggledy, and then people can't dance to it because it's like, there's two kick drums, I'm confused. So yeah, two types of time. One of them gets really overlooked for the other one. People forget the fact that you've got to choose the right point in the song to play it. A lot of the times I'll start a track like 32 bars in, if it's a house track, just because I can find a nicer way of slotting it together without having to go through like 32 bars of boring drums, because drums are boring. So yeah, just choose the right point in the song and just kind of mix in and choose the right point in the song before it to mix out from. Again, it doesn't have to be at the end. A lot of the times I'll mix out kind of in the breakdown just because it's a nice slot to do it. Or if you hear a big kind of whoosh noise in a song, in the breakdown, a lot of the times you hear like a sort of vibe, and then all the like melody and the beat goes. So you can put anything in there. It can be a different BPM, or it can be a whoosh noise from a different track. And that way you don't even have to do any beat matching, you can jump BPMs like mad. But you see what I mean? If you choose the right point in the song to bring it in wherever, and then you're good. And then you're not boring, it's boring shit. Right, so, just give you an example, right? So we've got two songs, both from me, because I'm multiplier, have to do that. And they also have to be two songs that work together that I haven't released. So I was a bit limited in choice, but I found two that kind of work together. Got Pirate Electro and Fucked by Fruit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a point in the previous song to kind of play from, so that'll do just fine. What I'll do is I'll kind of talk it through as I'm going, and then we've got to choose the right point in the song coming in, which is Fucked by Fruit, to play it. So the beginning will work just fine in this case. Should be cool. So let's play the previous song, so Pirate Electro, free download. So everything happens in kind of 32 bar chunks. So we got a 32 bar kind of bassy sort of main sort of section right now. A little bit of stuff on the side, but fundamentally it's pretty bassy. Now we've got a bass gone, still got some drums, a little bit of melodic sort of complextro stuff. So we're not going to bring the next one in yet, otherwise the melodies will overlap and it won't really work. However now, so the melody had disappeared from the previous song, so it's the right time to bring the melody in from the one coming in. Pretty cool stuff. No fancy stuff with the EQ. Now we could have used the EQ and stuff to tighten it up to kind of smooth out some frequencies that were overlapping, but fundamentally it just kind of worked. So even though there were no intro drums for Fucked by Fruit, we just picked the right point in the song before it for it to kind of work. Now, the obvious thing would have been to mix it in kind of 32 bars before I did, or 16. I get 32 and 16 confused, to bring it in before I did, but there was still some melodic stuff going on in the track before it. Which would have meant that the melodies were kind of overlapping, and then as a listener you were getting confused. So these are the sort of things you got to be thinking about. Bass is another integral one. Kick drums can't be overlapping. That's one of the reasons why a lot of times people will take out the low end in a track or use a filter or EQ to do it, because if you have the kicks overlapping it goes mental. Just don't do it. I can explain to you why, but it gets a bit complicated with physics. So yeah, make sure kicks don't overlap. Similarly, bass lines don't go on top of each other. Melodies sometimes can. Drums will almost always go on top of each other, sometimes not in a very nice way, but they kind of will. So yeah, that's pretty much the sort of vibe. Just kind of choose the right point in the song to bring it in, and you don't even have to worry about using these things or effects. Granted, there are some nice ways you can use these things and effects to kind of do cool shit. But fundamentally, I'd still make sure you're at least looking like you're doing stuff with these. Otherwise, you won't really look very pro if you just press play, and then so on. You want to make sure you look pro, so that's integral as well. Right, cool. We're getting distracted. So that's it. Fundamentals of DJing. We'll recap. Play the right song at the right time. That's it. Done.